The hearing today, which is entitled Too Big to Prosecute, Examining the AI Industry's Mass Ingestion of Copyrighted Works for AI Training. This is the third hearing of the Senate Judiciary Committee's Subcommittee on Crime and Counterterrorism, which I'm delighted to work on with my colleague, Ranking Member Durbin. I want to thank you, say a special thank you to the witnesses for being here. Many of you, I think all of you, traveled in order to be here today. Thanks to everybody for accommodating our change in time. The Senate floor is going to be tied up here later today, and thus no committee business is happening. So thanks all of you for being here and for accommodating us. I'm going to make just a few opening remarks. Senator Durbin will do the same, then we'll swear in the witnesses and be off to the races.
What's going on, Patriots? Welcome back to America First, the channel that puts our country and our people first every single time. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, because we're bringing you the truth that the mainstream media won't tell you. Ring that notification bell so you never miss when we expose what's really happening in this country.
Let me just start by saying that today's hearing is about the largest intellectual property theft in American history. For all of the talk about artificial intelligence and innovation and the future that comes out of Silicon Valley, here's the truth that nobody wants to admit. AI companies are training their models on stolen material, period. That is just the fact of the matter. And we're not talking about these companies simply scouring the internet for what's publicly available. We're talking about piracy. We're talking about theft. For years, AI companies have stolen massive amounts of copyrighted material from illegal online repositories. Now, the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security regularly prosecute individuals who engage in exactly the same kind of behavior using platforms like LimeWire or Napster in the old days, using a process called torrenting. But have these big tech companies been prosecuted? No, of course not. They're getting off scot-free, and this hearing will show us that Meta and Anthropic and other AI companies are willfully using these illegal networks, these torrenting networks as they're called, to steal vast swaths of copyrighted materials. The amount of material that we're talking about is absolutely mind-boggling. We're talking about every book and every academic article ever written. Let me say that again. Every book and every article ever written. Billions of pages of copyrighted works, enough to fill 22 libraries the size of the Library of Congress. Think about that. 22 libraries of Congresses full of works. That is how much has been stolen, and this theft was not some innocent mistake. They knew exactly what they were doing. They pirated these materials willfully. As the idea of pirating copyrighted works percolated through Meta, to take one example, employee after employee warned management that what they were doing was illegal. One Meta employee told management that, and I quote now, "This is not trivial," and he shared an article asking, what is the probability of getting arrested for using torrents, illegal downloads, in the United States? Another Meta employee shared a different article saying that downloading from illegal repositories would open Meta up to legal ramifications. That's a nice way of saying that what they were doing was exactly, totally, 100% barred by copyright law. Did Meta management listen? No. They bulldozed straight ahead. We'll see evidence today that Mark Zuckerberg himself approved the decision to use these pirated materials. And then, the best part, Meta management tried to hide it. They tried to hide the fact that they were engaged in the illegal download of pirated works. And not just the illegal download, but the illegal distribution of these same works. They tried to hide it by using non-company servers. They went so far as to train their AI model. I get this. Meta trained its AI model to lie to users about what data it had been trained on. I mean, you talk about an Inception level worthy deception. Training the AI model to lie about what its own sources were. This isn't just aggressive business tactics, this is criminal conduct. And I just want to point out, Meta's conduct is not an exception. This is the rule when it comes to what is happening right now in the AI space among these mega companies. Big tech operates on the model of do whatever you want and count on the lobbyists and the lawyers to fix it later. They don't care about the rule of law. They don't care about America. They don't care about freedom. They certainly don't care about working people. They care about power and they care about money. And every time they say things like, we can't let China beat us, Let me just translate that for you. Every time they say that, oh, we can't let China beat us, what they're really saying is, give us truckloads of cash and let us steal everything from you and make billions of dollars on it. That's the translation. And we're going to see that in the testimony and the evidence today. Here's the bottom line. We have got to do something to protect the people of this country. I'm all for innovation, but not at the price of illegality. I'm all for innovation, but not at the price of destroying the intellectual property of the average man and woman in this country. We have laws for a reason. Those laws ought to be enforced, and big tech should not be above the law. Enough is enough. It's time to enforce the law, and that's what this hearing today is about. Now I'll turn it over to Ranking Member Durbin.
Today we're talking about something that should make every freedom-loving American absolutely furious. I just watched the Senate hearing footage, and let me tell you, what these big tech companies are doing is nothing short of theft on a massive scale. This isn't just about copyright law. Folks, this is about the complete erosion of property rights in America. Let me break down what we learned from this hearing. Companies like Meta, run by Mark Zuckerberg, and Anthropic have been systematically stealing copyrighted material to train their AI systems. We're not talking about a few files here and there. We're talking about every book, every academic article, every piece of written work ever created. The senator said it amounts to 22 libraries the size of the Library of Congress. Think about that scale for a moment. Now, here's what really gets me fired up as a conservative who believes in the rule of law and property rights. These companies knew exactly what they were doing. Meta employees were literally sharing articles about the probability of getting arrested for illegal torrenting. They were warning management about legal ramifications. But did they stop? Absolutely not. They bulldozed straight ahead because they thought they were above the law. And here's the kicker that should make every American angry. Mark Zuckerberg himself reportedly approved using these pirated materials. The same Mark Zuckerberg who lectures us about misinformation and content moderation was personally signing off on the largest intellectual property theft in American history. The hypocrisy is staggering. But it gets worse. They didn't just steal this content. They actively tried to hide it. They used non-company servers to cover their tracks. They even trained their AI models to lie to users about what data they were trained on. This is criminal deception at the highest levels of corporate America. Now, as a conservative, I believe in free markets and innovation. I'm not anti-technology. But what I am against is companies that think they can ignore the law because they're too big to prosecute. That's not capitalism. That's crony corporatism. That's exactly the kind of behavior that undermines the free market system that made America great. Here's what really bothers me about this whole situation. While regular Americans get prosecuted by the FBI and Department of Homeland Security for downloading movies on LimeWire or Napster, these tech giants are stealing billions of copyrighted works and facing zero consequences. That's not equal justice under law. That's a two-tier justice system where the elites play by different rules. And let's talk about the broader implications here. These companies are destroying the intellectual property rights of American creators, writers, and innovators. They're taking the work of hardworking Americans and using it to build billion-dollar AI systems without paying a dime in compensation. That's not just theft. That's an attack on the American dream itself. The senator mentioned how these companies use the excuse of competing with China to justify their illegal behavior. Let me translate that for you, just like he did. When they say we can't let China beat us, what they really mean is give us truckloads of cash and let us steal everything so we can make billions. That's not patriotism. That's greed wrapped in the American flag. As Americans who believe in the Constitution and the rule of law, we should be demanding accountability. These companies have violated copyright law on an unprecedented scale. They've stolen from American creators, lied to users, and covered up their crimes. If this was any other industry, heads would roll and people would be in prison. But here's the thing that gives me hope. This hearing shows that some members of Congress are finally waking up to what's happening. They're finally asking the tough questions and demanding answers. But we need more than hearings. We need action. We need prosecutions. We need these companies to face real consequences for their illegal behavior. The American people deserve better than this. We deserve a system where the law applies equally to everyone, whether you're a regular citizen or a tech billionaire. We deserve a system where innovation happens within the bounds of the law, not by stealing from hardworking Americans. This is about more than just copyright law. This is about whether we're going to allow a handful of tech companies to completely reshape our economy and our society through illegal means. This is about whether we're going to stand up for the rights of American creators and innovators, or whether we're going to let Silicon Valley elites steal their work and profit from it. I know this issue can seem complex, but it's really quite simple. Stealing is wrong. It doesn't matter if you're stealing a candy bar from a convenience store or billions of copyrighted works to train your AI system. Wrong is wrong, and the law should apply equally to everyone. So what can we do about this? First, we need to contact our representatives and demand they take action. This can't just be about hearings and tough talk. We need real legislation that holds these companies accountable. We need prosecutors who are willing to go after big tech with the same vigor they go after regular Americans. Second, we need to support the American creators and innovators who are being harmed by this theft. Buy books from American authors. Support American journalists and content creators. Show these companies that we value original, honest work over stolen content. Third, we need to stay informed and keep pressure on these companies. They're counting on us to forget about this and move on to the next story. We can't let that happen. This is too important for the future of American innovation and property rights. The bottom line is this. America was built on the principle that hard work and innovation should be rewarded, not stolen. We were built on the idea that the law applies equally to everyone. These tech companies are attacking both of those principles, and we need to fight back. That's all for today, Patriots. If you found this video informative, smash that like button and subscribe to America First. Share this with your friends and family, because more Americans need to know what's really happening. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think about this massive theft by big tech. Until next time, keep fighting for America and remember, America first, always.